So I'm going to say this, and then I'm done with this. I had made a previous video that I decided not to upload because I'm pretty angry. I am not just pretty angry, I'm extremely angry. And I think that I've shown great restraint with all of this bull crap. Oh, happy Blues Fest weekend. If I didn't wish you a happy Chicago Blues Fest weekend, one of my favorite times of year. I play the blues. I love the blues. I grew up on it. We're not having a Blues Fest this year because there is a thing going around called coronavirus. Now, is coronavirus a real thing, and is it still going around in Chicago? I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is we don't have a Blues Fest this year. But what we do have is a bunch of fucking protests and violence taking its place. But you say, Louis, how could we have protests? Isn't the city still half shut down? You can't still go in a bar or a restaurant to eat? No, you can't. The restaurants that have actually survived and the bars that are actually survived, no, you can't go into them and eat and drink. No. Because there's still a coronavirus. We're still on half lockdown. And then you say, but wait a minute. All our festivals have been canceled because of the coronavirus. For our safety. But there's a whole bunch of protests going on. For what? For a guy that died because of the police purposely killed him to start a bunch of shit? Pretty much. And now the whole fucking world has gone crazy. But we still have a coronavirus. People are dying out there. But wait a minute. So who's allowing all these protests to go on the weekend that quite a few, I'll say 100 max musicians have been, scheduled to play the music that has been happening since 1978? No, we have Gospel Fest online. We have, what else? Well, we're going to have Blues Fest online. But it's not Blues Fest. It's a bunch of hand-picked people by the city to spin records. Maybe records that we don't particularly care for. But they do. But we don't have a Blues Fest. We don't have an actual place to go and congregate to listen to live music. Just like we don't have restaurants that we can walk into to eat. Or bars or clubs for actual working musicians to continue making their living playing. But we have protests. We have a shitload of protests. Are they 6 feet apart? No. Are they social distancing? Fuck no. They're not doing any of that. But they are pissed off and angry, and they are breaking shit. And they are going into neighborhoods where they don't belong, starting a bunch of shit, getting a whole bunch of people pissed off. They're good at doing that. And guess who's behind it? The city. A lot of cities. But we're talking about Chicago right now. That this weekend we should be having the Blues Fest. But we don't. And all of you guys are sitting home on your fucking asses, not making any money. Well, I'm sitting at home on my fucking ass, not going to see live music. But what do we have to replace it? Protests. A whole bunch of bullshit ass protests. Now they want to get rid of the police. Can you tell me what sense this is making? Backed by the city and the state. But you know what we have? We have about, I'd say, 200 to 300 National Guard military trucks sitting in the White Sox parking lot right now, waiting to respond to more violence, which will probably happen. Because they want it to happen. They like when it happens. They love putting this shit on TV and the news. They love seeing people's businesses and houses burned down. Teenagers jumping through glass, through Target, Walgreens. Oh, speaking of Walgreens, my wife has to stand in a 2-hour to 3-hour line because this is the only Walgreens that they didn't successfully fucking loot. For her medication. In my neighborhood. Where's my neighborhood? My neighborhood is where the White Sox are. But let's not talk about that neighborhood because that neighborhood's full of a bunch of racist white people or white vigilantes. Do you know how much damage the looters did to our neighborhood? None. Why? Because people give a fuck here. And they're not going to let these bums come in here and fucking destroy shit. They never have, and they never will. I'm not going to let somebody come in my house or break my windows out because of a George Floyd or whoever else. Trayvon Martin or anybody else. That has nothing to do with me. That's somebody's decision they made to take another person's life. It has nothing to do with me or my family or anybody else. That's called a bad apple. In the police department, there are many bad apples. That doesn't mean you get rid of the whole police department. What kind of fucking sense does that make? It makes sense to somebody that can't figure out a solution to a problem. Throw the baby out with the bathwater. Not smart. Especially when you have a very pissed off fucking city. That's pretty much all I have to say. Play some CDs today. I hope you enjoy your Chicago Blues Fest weekend, those of you that really care about it. I did. It is 2020. The year 2020. I've been going to these festivals since 1978. I was 8 years old. Taking this shit away for a virus pissed me off. Taking this shit away and having a bunch of useless bullshit protest take its place goes way beyond that. Have a nice weekend.